Hello, ladies and jelly beans. It's nice to see you all. Bit of a different change of pace here for Digitech, but we'll only hopefully be here for a few days. I wanted to introduce you to a new concept for some, but maybe familiar for others, and it's just about number systems. So don't be too worried about some of the things you're seeing on screen now. I'm going to try and explain what we're doing here. But this is really the introduction to where we're going to be moving into for the rest of the year, and that's the concept of coding. Now, remember we talked about this earlier in all coding is a language that we can use to speak to computers. And for those class who know languages, you do coding every day. So if you speak a second language, or I think as you guys will be learning, a lot of you will be learning Italian this year. When you speak another language, let's say you go traveling to Italy and someone asks you in Italian and you know Italian very well, you are going to take those Italian words and then figure out what are the equivalent English words that those words mean. Yeah, so if you hear somebody say buongiorno, then you're going to hear that and go, okay, well, buongiorno means English in, sorry, means good morning in English, uh, but they both mean the same thing. Yeah, so two different words in this case have exactly the same meaning. And all we're doing here is doing two different numbers or two different number systems which mean the same thing. All right, now we're eventually going to get to the language of computers, which is binary, but we're going to start with something a little easier. Okay, now you'll see this is one of the handouts in today's lesson, and if I scroll on this page here, you'll see there's different number systems. There's the Roman system, which I'll explain in a little bit, the Egyptian system, the Babylonian system, and the Torres Strait Island system. So what does that mean? Well, let's start with Roman system. So a lot of us will know what Roman numerals are. Okay, and a lot of us know here, for example, that the number one is represented by a single stroke, the number two by a double stroke, and so on and so forth. But in order to make the number system as efficient as possible, once we get up in the numbers, they can be represented by different um, icons. So this one here, for example, rather than just writing 5 individual strokes, the 5 here is represented by a V. And rather than writing for this number here, a V and 4 strokes, there is a 1 before an X, which in the Roman system represents 9. And here for 10 is X. So if you've heard of Roman numerals, that's exactly what this is. And then down in this combination down here, we've got letters which represent much bigger numbers, and that enables us to easily represent a really big number without using lots of single strokes. So that's the Roman system. So if I were to give you a problem such as convert the number 23 into the Roman system, all you would do is look at the table here and think, okay, well, what components of these make up 23 in its most simplest form? And for here, we can go, okay, well, we can't use these because 50 is too many. And we're not just going to use the ones here because that's not enough. But you know what? I think we can use this one a little bit. Okay, so if 1 times x, oh, that's really confusing, equals 10, well, 2 times x is going to equal 20. Okay, so we've got 20 of those 23. Now we only need to find 3 more. 3 is represented by this one. So x, x, stroke, stroke, stroke is equal to 23. So that's that process there. And that's all we're going to be doing in today's lesson. Finding numerical numbers that we know how to write, and we're converting those into different systems. So when we go through to other systems, you can see we've gone through the Roman system, and here we have the Egyptian system. It's very similar in the sense that you have a simple stroke here that represents certain numbers. But you'll see here for 10, instead of an X here, they have an arch. And for 100, they do a coil on a rope. So again, if I give you a number 10,505, how are you going to represent that in the Egyptian system? So what I want you to do here is pause the video and try to write down what the Egyptian system number for 10,505 is. So pause the video and I'll go through the answer in a second. Okay, so how are we going to do 10,505? So 100,000 here, not going to use that because there's too many. 10,000 we can use, and that's going to be a bent reed. Okay, so we've got at least one of those in here. So how many numbers are remaining? Well, we've got 505. So here, we don't have an icon for 500. So you know what we're going to do? We're just going to do 5. Oops, goes around like this. 5 of these. So we've got 10,000. We've got 500, and then we've just got 5 more that we need to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that here is the Egyptian representation of 10,505. So then our activity, then we've got other systems such as the Babylonian system, and then we have the Torres Strait Islander system. So the Torres Strait Islander system is a non-verbal system here, where they have parts of the body that represent certain numbers. Okay, so for them to represent the number 17, I want you to pause the video and have a look where on the body that the Torres Strait Islander system would represent that. And if you were looking for the number 17, they would hold up their left pinky, which is this one here. Okay, so that represents 17 in the Torres Strait Islander system. So if you wanted 27, oh no, already got that one. Let's say you wanted, let's say 47, yeah, 47 in the Torres Strait Islander system. Well, I don't have the number 47 here, but you know what? I do have 30 and I do have 7. So here in the Torres Strait Islander system, people would point to their second toe on their right foot and their elbow to represent 30 plus 7 equals 37. Oh, all right, so you've got all those number systems there. Our task for today is in this second worksheet, which is contained within the sector lesson. And here we're just going to go through a series of numbers that you know, these ones here, okay, these numbers here, and then depending on where we are in the worksheet, you've got to do these in the Egyptian number system. You then here use the Roman number system. You then use the Babylonian number system, and then we complete this table. Okay, so what is 15 for all these 3 different types? Okay, great. And then this final page here, we actually go backwards. So instead of me giving you the number and then you working out what that is represented in another system, I give you the other system and you tell me what that is in what we know every day, which is called decimals. So we're going to do this first one together. All right, so this is a Roman numeral system. We look at how we do this is we go, okay, xi. And to do that, we go back here to our worksheet, which is a separate file to the Roman numeral system, and we're looking for xi. Okay, now ignore my scribbles here. All right, so xi, where can you see an x? Okay, I see an x, so I'm going to bring in 10 to my other sheet, and I'm going to type in 10 here, plus, and I've got this I still need to find. So now I go back to there. Where do I find the I? Bang, I find the I here, and that is 1. So then I go back, 10 plus 1 equals 11. And then we follow that process down to the rest of those sheets. Okay, so guys, I will be on Teams during your lesson here. If you have any questions on how to complete these, do as many as you can, okay? If you can't do all of them, that's okay. I just want to see that you can do the best that you can, all right? You can type your answers on the screen. You can print it out if you have a printer at home and write them in, or you can just write out the answers in your exercise book. And then what we'll do when we're back at school for our next lesson next week, I'll come around and check your work and answer any questions afterwards that you might have. Okay, so thanks everybody. I hope this lesson was clear. If it's not, you can always re-watch a video lesson. If anything's unclear, pause, go over material, and any questions in the moment you have, as I say, just hit me up with the Teams DM.